Chillz in the building. Excited to have the first interview with you. We've been working together for the past 4 or 5 months.
Yep. It feels like
it kind of feels like
longer,
it's going quick, but
4 or 5 months. Yeah, it's been
a little time.
A little minute,
That's amazing. So
4 or 5 good months.
4 or 5 good months.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say so too.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. So the ADS thing, this is what we're running.
Yeah.
How's it going so far?
I think it's going pretty good. I think it's a new thing that we're doing in the city, so people are just they want to watch and spectate instead of participate. But I expected that, and I think that we just got to keep going,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're gonna see like a lot of people are participating instead of just watching. But a lot of eyes are on it, so that's the good thing. Big names, little names, don't matter. People are seeing it, so I like that.
Yeah. So you feel like it's gonna percolate, and
yeah, I think so, because the eyes are on us right now, so we just gotta figure out a way where we can monetize those eyes, and not just monetize, like get those eyes and get them active with us.
Yeah, it's not really about the money.
No.
Because it's not like we could make millions off of this.
Yeah. Of course not. Yeah.
But it's really about changing the mindset of people.
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, the money is about them getting money.
Yeah. Exactly.
The opportunity. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I want everybody
turn
to
the eyes into
because that's the only way people are really gonna jump
care.
on. Yeah.
Right.
So we gotta show them that no, everybody's gonna eat.
Eat.
We're gonna make sure that it's our time.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So I like what we got going on. It's only been 4 months, and Rome wasn't built in a day.
It wasn't.
So yeah.
All right, that's dope. So like I really want to get go back in history a little bit, because you have such a great repertoire and CV as a music producer / artist. So yeah, definitely. I love working with you and all your talents. So I just wanted to just give the audience a little bit of how Chillz started in the game, and walk us through up until this point, if you can.
So like even like just in the beginning.
Yeah, I want to know. Because where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in Parkdale.
Okay.
Parkdale, Toronto.
Dope.
Downtown.
Lit.
And that's where I started doing music. I was about 16 years old. I bought my first mic. Actually, no. I actually stole my mic from high school.
What?
Yeah, they had like a studio there.
So flex.
All of us, we seen it, and then we wanted to take it, but who was the brave one going to do it? Everybody knew I was going to do it, so I took it. And we all shared that mic too. That's the funny thing. That mic like traveled everywhere for like 5-6 years. Expensive mic too.
Wow.
So that mic, it started like my career, but I also had other mics in the process and stuff like that. But I was 16, starting music then, and back then there wasn't no Twitter, Instagram, there wasn't no TikTok. There was only like Reverb Nation, MySpace. So if you were doing music back then, it's because you truly loved it. You didn't want the clout.
Right.
There wasn't no clout.
Right.
The clout is in your hood.
That's
if you're popular there, like in person, that's your clout. There wasn't no followers. There's no, none of that. So I was doing it for pure love and just wanted to be like 50, wanted to be like Lil Wayne, whoever else listening to Cameron. And at 16, I was doing that, but I was also rapping and I was also producing, because I seen my friend, who my boy Talented, aka A.I.R Toronto, he was making beats, and another boy from my high school. They're both making beats, and I seen them make beats.
Okay.
And that's what made me say, wow, I want to start making beats. And I also found out that you actually can't use your own beats, because I was like, not my own beats, the industry beats. I was using the industry Lil Wayne beats, all the, like I was just freestyling on that, and my boy told me like you can't use that, you know what I'm saying? So
copyright.
I started making beats from there. So from 16, I just did it just for the art and just wanting to do it.
Wow.
And now I'm 34. That's almost 20 years. Right. Still doing it.
So you literally you started, but okay. So with the mic. Yeah. You guys were all artists on the mic, rapping.
Yeah, some of us. Yep.
But then, when did you see your boys making beats and want to try?
Around the same time.
Around, so it's kind of the same time.
Yeah, literally around the same time. Literally probably the same summer.
Okay.
I'll never forget that summer.
All right.
Grade 11 summer.
Wow. Because I wanted to know if you are one of those that did the artistry and then started production like 5-10 years later or
no,
something.
Same time.
Okay.
Same time. I was rapping and making beats.
Oh, all along.
All my beats too.
Wow. So now, then, when's your first drop? You know, what happens after that?
When my first drop, like when I was 16. Well, the
How
drop
did it
was
go?
different back then.
Exactly.
So we had to. What I used to do, I used to get blank CDs.
Okay.
And I used to print like 50 blank CDs, and then I used to make my own cover, go to high school and make a mixtape and sell it.
Wow.
That was my drop.
Wow.
There wasn't YouTube was just popping then, so you wasn't known for putting music on YouTube. Even though I did have like a couple of videos on YouTube, it was just off a digital cam. It wasn't like a vlog or anything. It's just me capturing videos. But and you can hear my songs in the background. But it wasn't dropped on YouTube that time. But I was dropping it on MySpace and I was printing it out and selling it. And actually, people were buying it too.
How much were they?
$10.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
And some people still have it from my high school. If you have that, send that to me. If you know what I had a different nickname back then. It was Crime Time with a K. So if you have that Crime Time mixtape, please send that to me, please.
Please, because I
would love
to
hear that. She would love to hear it too. Trust me.
Would.
Wasn't that good, but
I want to hear that original shit. I mean? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It would be amazing to hear that today.
Oh yeah.
So it's about what? It's about what? 28 plus.
Yeah. So I was 18 years ago. So we're at 2005, 2008ish, 2009ish.
Jesus.
Yep.
Oh my.
Before Drake I heard of Drake back then, but before he became
big.
Yeah. So I was doing music before that.
Okay. So then, when did you really now get your bus into the industry now?
Okay. So 16, around when I was 20. So 4 years later.
So the whole time during that, you're doing the same guerrilla style?
Yeah, I was rapping, making beats, but...
Were you performing?
No.
Did you do talent show? What?
I used to perform when I was younger, but I used to perform like Michael Jackson songs and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I was always known to be a performer. I used to kill all the talent shows. I was always the winner because I can dance and whatever. But my own songs, I started performing after I got signed, when I was like 20 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, when I got my buzz.
So
because before I was rapping and stuff, like we didn't really care about buzz like that. I used to sell it and stuff like that, but I was kind of known in my hood and stuff, but I didn't really care for clout. I didn't know about the business and stuff until I got signed, and he taught me, get a Twitter, get this, do that, do that. And once I knew that, that's when my family started growing.
So how did they discover you?
Well, technically I kind of discovered them. I was making beats a lot in 2011. I wasn't even rapping.
Okay.
I was just steady making beats on some just production stuff. And I didn't have any rappers, I only had my cousin rapping, so I really wanted to find rappers, and I had one rapper, Billy Burns. He was on my Facebook, and I seen him dropping stuff, so I just hollered at him like, yo, I got beats, let me send you some beats. And I sent it to him. He's like, yo, you made that? I'm like, yeah, I made that. He's like, come to the studio right now.
Wow.
So I was like, all right. I just came to the studio, and then when I came to the studio, I played him a bunch of beats. They're all going crazy. And he's just like, yo, you want to be certified or what? I didn't even know what certified was. And I'm just like, sure. I thought it just means like official. Yeah, you know what I mean? And he's like, all right, cool. We're gonna get the contract and da. And I'm like, oh, what? I'm getting signed right now. I was just like, cool. Niggas want me. I just felt good that I was wanted.
Right.
So from then, I started figuring out the game, and he taught me a lot, and he taught me how to like promote my brand and build my fan base. They gave me some fans. I started gaining their fans and building it from there. Wow. And then that's when I started performing. Okay. I always had it though, because I knew how to be on stage of talent shows. So when I started performing, I was already ready. Right.
So would you say that kind of you put yourself through a little artist development? When you were in
with
your
him.
No, but even before that.
Yeah.
With your boys and stuff.
Yeah, yep.
Your own little...
My own, so yeah, with me and my boys.
DIY shit.
For 4 years.
That's right. And then you went into their camp, and that was a next level of artist development, right?
Yeah, yes, definitely. That was more the business and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Right. The 4 years was more of just growing, putting the hours in. I was an artist and learning how to make beats and record myself and you know, performing structure and all that stuff.
What was the tour like?
It was Brampton. It was Barrie. It was Niagara and Hamilton, I think.
Lit. Lit.
Did shows the whole weekend, back to back. Yeah.
And did you get paid those times?
Of course.
Wow.
The only show I never got paid was my first show, and that first show was the show that made me get more shows, because I was like one of the first people. It was my first show, so I ended up being the best performer in that show, and that's the one on my Instagram where I'm doing like a crazy dance. I had no shirt.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, that was my first show.
What?
Yeah, my first
that's
personal
your first show.
Yeah.
You look so like, that looks like your 20th show.
Yeah, because I already been performing from time. So I was ready, and once that show happened, I kind of like went viral, and not all the promoters, but like a lot of promoters were hitting me up, and they're like, let's do business. And back then, there wasn't like the big rappers who are here now,
right?
Like the presses and all that stuff.
Right.
It was, you know, there's other people like that. So shows wasn't really a big thing, but if you could do a show and you could pack 200
like
people,
that, right?
Everybody's booking you,
right?
So that's what was happening with me. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's lit. So, what kind of advice would you have for artists who would like to start getting out there and performing? Especially in that way, local performances and stuff like that. How do they get their foot in the door? Yeah,
well, I can only tell you the advice, you know, for me that happened. Prepare for 2-3 months for one show. Make that show the best show. Like, think of the most creative things you can do. Try to make that show the best show. Once everybody sees that, wow, this guy is a great performer, they're going to hit you up, I promise you.
Okay.
You just have to make that the best show you can. You know what I mean? I came with a plan. I knew what time I was going to take off my shirt. I knew what I was going to do here. I knew what I was going to do there.
Wow.
I practiced it for like at least 2 months in my living room.
Okay.
I didn't even go to a studio. I practiced it every day.
Yeah, okay.
So you got to really perfect
That's why you were that lit. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's why people some people do get nervous. I get it with the crowd and stuff, but me personally, I'm not gonna lie, I don't get nervous, because I used to I remember my boys like, yo, aren't you scared, aren't you nervous to go on stage? And I looked them in the eye and I'm like, bro, they should be nervous. Do they understand what they're about to see right now? You know? I remember when Kanye said, you know, he's like, I'm jealous of you guys because you guys get to watch me. And that's how I felt with my performance.
I need to see this shit, yeah.
So I honestly, believe, maybe I was insane, but I do know I worked so hard at it. I worked every day practicing with my DJ. So I can perform it. I can perform with my eyes closed. Like even my first sold out show, people don't know. I actually took like a Molly that day, and I was not feeling well. I almost fucked up.
That same day?
When you look at the footage, you would not believe that. Like, bro, you look incredible.
You look well healthy.
I was gonna throw up on stage. I was like, no way, I'm gonna go viral right now like this. But I can
mind over matter.
Because exactly, and I practiced so much. There's no way I was gonna get it wrong. So I think that's my advice for artists. Like, practice so much that it's impossible to mess up.
Right.
Just put in the work.
Right.
If you put in the work every single day, you practice on your lyrics, you practice on your stage presence, and how you're going to come out, how you're going to leave, how you're going to do the breakdown, you know, you're not going to be nervous. Right. Because if you really want this, then why are you going to be nervous? This is what you want. You want people to look at you, or do you want nobody to look at you? Right. You know, so me, I never performed in front of 5,000 or something, but I know for sure if I did, I would be even more excited. In my opinion. And that's why you see certain performers like Playboy Cardi, Travis Scott, and all those guys going crazy, because there's no way they're nervous. Those guys love this stuff. They love it. They want to live on stage. You know what I mean? They're nervous when they're off stage, maybe, and they're just chilling with regular people. So,
agreed. I totally hear that. Totally. You could tell the difference when someone.
You could tell.
They're just born to be there.
Yeah, born.
That's what I see when I see your performance. I'm like, this guy. What kind of energy is this?
I couldn't wait to be on stage. Trust me. It was one of those times. That's why I even took the Molly that time, because I was just like so anxious. My man to take it on, and my cousin like, yo, I got a Molly here, and I never used to take Mollies and stuff like that, but I tried it before. I tried it that time, and I regret. That's the last time I did it because of that time. But I was so anxious just to get on stage. I just needed some excitement in me, and I'm like, you know what? If I take it, I know I'm going to even go crazier. No, I had a headache, almost threw up, and I kept it together just because I knew exactly what to do.
Jeez, oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Oh yeah.
So, what's your best performance in the sense of the crowd or how you did or what happened? Did you ever crowd dive or whatever?
My favorite would be Mod Club. I don't know if you heard of the Mod Club, but
Yes.
the Mod Club, they're not there no more because
Right.
of COVID. But Mod Club was definitely my favorite performance, and me and my brother practiced that for a long time. The reason why is it was my favorite because I started the performance quiet on purpose, just like Michael did back in the days. I came there and he had an umbrella, and he had the umbrella. I'm under the umbrella, and we're just looking at the crowd. And you hear Charlie Chaplin just talking in the speaker, and I wanted that. Everybody's like, "What the hell's going on?" I just wanted silence. I just wanted to look at the crowd in the beginning, and everybody was like, "Does this guy really think he's that?" He's like, you know what I mean? What does this guy really think he is? And that's my favorite because I didn't want to come there, "Hey, everybody." I wanted to come there, just stand there, me and my brother with the umbrella, and we're looking at you guys eye to eye.
Oh, this is the story that you told me where you and your brother practiced, and then when he got up there, he was shaking.
Yeah. He was. He definitely was shaking. He was like, bro, because he never been on stage.
I know, and it's because you didn't tell me that it was this moment. Okay, you did explain, but the whole point of you explaining it was about the nervous part. But now within the context, I see why he is more nervous because you were doing something that no one does.
No one does this. Because people come with music, and the music helps your energy. I told him, bro, we're going there. It's only going to be a speech, and it's going to be dark, and we're just going to look there. Even your glasses is not going to help because it's going to be quiet. Just understand, you're with me. That's all that matters.
Wow.
I'm not nervous. He didn't help. He was still nervous, but he did a good job.
He did a good job.
You wouldn't even tell, like, he's shaking.
Right, but you knew.
I knew. I'm like, oh my God, don't drop it. I was like, because I know my bro, and he's never been on stage like this ever. And this is Mod Club, one of the biggest venues we had in the, well, not one of the biggest, but one of the most legendary. This is the first show the Weeknd had.
Right,
you know, it was a Mod Club. So one of the biggest legendary venues we had in the city. So it definitely was nerve-wracking for him. For me, I was loving it. I was loving it. So that's my favorite show.
Performance? Wow.
Yeah. Even though I know a lot of people like other ones when I'm doing this and doing the crazy stuff. But I feel like now people have taken it to another level with that crazy stuff. Like you just said, crowd surfing. When I was doing these performances, crowd surfing wasn't really a thing like that. It was more of like the rock people and stuff. But the rappers weren't doing that. You know? Now all the rappers are doing that. So I'm not gonna say my hype videos or my hype performances are my best. I'm gonna give the quiet one because nobody's doing that till this day.
Right. That's dope. That's so cinematic and like theatrical.
Art.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Real art. Yeah.
So
it's conceptual. Like you really thought about.
I really did. And we practiced that in the living room, just standing there like that.
That's crazy.
And I mean, just imagine everybody looking at you right now.
Wow.
That's what's gonna happen.
That's lit. And so, what was your last performance?
My last performance, good question.
The last time you were on stage, can you remember?
It was 2019 Raptors.
Oh, that's
Raptors. The Raptors won, so I was booked for a show.
Oh.
Yeah, a little show. So that was my last performance.
Okay, that's lit.
Yeah, but everybody knows I'm not a Raptor fan, so I'm not. It wasn't my greatest weekend. You know what I mean? But,
I didn't know you're not a Raptors fan.
Yeah, well, most people know I'm a Celtics fan, but. I don't. It is what it is. I'm not hating on, but I got booked for a show that weekend, and that's why there's not that much footage because I was not happy about the Raptors won that weekend. You know, and I even got booked like a week before, and I got booked because the promoters like, yo, they're gonna win. Don't worry. I'm like, bro, there's not gonna be no show. They're not gonna win. And he was right.
Wow.
Like, yo, I told you, man, come to the show.
That's how it went. That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. So who did you listen to when you were growing up? Like who? Influence who, you know, who makes you Chillz in a sense of music wise, you know, who influenced you?
Definitely Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, of course. When I was young, my mom, we used to listen to like the songs my mom played first. Like, so rap came a little bit later. So more like I loved Drew Hill, loved them, Cisco,
love them too.
You know, Billy Ocean, loved Billy Ocean. Alexander O'Neal, I liked him. Mace, I liked Mace when I was younger. Jay-Z.
Yes.
those guys,
classics.
I would say, who influenced me a lot. Who else? Missy Elliott. I like Missy. Janet Jackson. Love Janet. Yeah, artists like that.
So you have a nice.
Yeah, when you people like when they hear me listen to music, it literally goes to all over the place. My mind is weird. I'm a guy.
That's good.
Yeah, I put it on shuffle when I literally have
Wow.
7,000 songs on my phone, and if you hear me play music on a speaker, it's gonna go everywhere.
Wow.
It might go to R&B one song, and it might go to the gangster stuff in the next song, and then it might go to this song. And like, I just love music.
That's it. That's it.
I don't really put a label on it.
That's dope. All right. Well, I think I've asked you all the questions I want to ask for now. We'll have Chillz back on in the future. But one last thing I want to know. So what would you say how you have been working with me so far? What has been the growth in your production and your artistry? Let people know, how you have actually developed too.
I definitely have developed a lot. You know what I mean? Like taking ideas from you and then going to my brain and going to my computer and flipping it. You know what I mean? Like I haven't done stuff like that in a long time. So you've polished me to be a better producer. You know what I mean? You come with a lot of ideas, and you're always thinking about what's the new thing. What are we gonna do for the new thing? So structure. You're making me more organized in what I got going on. So to be honest, you kind of changed my life in the last 5 months. You know what I mean? Real talk. You made me even step it up. So my development, I've seen a lot of growth in myself in just 5 months that I haven't seen in a rapid pace in a long time. Like I'm always trying to grow.
Of course.
These last 5 months, I'm gonna say like I definitely feel a lot of growth in my art, in my life, everyday life, but especially my art. Like my beats even are better now. To be honest, you pushed me to listen to different type of beats that I wasn't making back then. You know what I mean? And now I'm making it. I'm like, I gotta do more of these.
That's lit. That's lit.
So yeah, I've seen a lot of growth
That's
myself.
amazing. That's all we want is to grow. Me too. Like I've grown a ton just doing this program too, because all along I've been kind of just ad hoc, like just doing it kind of like as you go, with trying to help these artists introduce the grants, get them into the whole motion of things. So I've always started with the whole interviews as a sort of a gateway in,
Yeah.
But now that we have a program that's structured, it's gonna actually make it so that we can apply for funding for this, and so that is huge, because that's what I've always wanted to, because this is not just for fun.
No.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like, as you said, all of us are learning and growing at the same time. So it's like, if we can just get to that point where we develop an amazing plan and get our foot in the door with a grant that supports this program, man, that's like, I really leveled up. You know what I'm trying to say, from the last time I was doing this.
Oh yeah, and you put a lot of hunger and a lot of fire in me now, like ever since then. So I'm excited for the next journey.
Yeah, me too. So me too. Dope.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Chillz. Amazing. Love working with you.
Got you.
And let's keep going. Let's keep the ball rolling with this series.
For sure.
All right.
For sure.
Thank you.